we'd like to welcome you to our first concert of 2020. We're going to be starting our concert again with our signature piece for this year. George Gershwin wrote a musical back in 1930 called On Thee I Sing. And in that musical, which had to do with the presidential election, the song Strike Up the Band was first utilized. And we'd like to play Warren Barker's arrangement of it, which is really great because in this arrangement, he quotes some 6 or 7 other marches by great American composers, one of which we're going to be playing for you today. So without anything further, here we go, starting off our concert with Strike Up the Band. I got the Super Bowl. Now, we all know what a Dalmatian is. Dalmatian is a type of dog. It's white with black spots on it. For many, many years, Dalmatians have been sort of the mascot dogs for fire departments. Particularly back in the early days when fire engines were horse-drawn. And you would see up there with the firemen seated in the seat, the black and white Dalmatian dog. The dog did serve important purposes. Back at that time in city firehouses, and even some rural ones too, rats were always a problem. And the Dalmatians were very good eliminators of rats. But there was another type of Dalmatian, and that is a person who came from the country of Dalmatia. There was a country of Dalmatia at one time. Today it's part of Croatia. It was found on the northern shore of the Adriatic Sea. Now, probably the greatest musician to come out of Dalmatia was Franz von Schumann. He was born in Dalmatia, received his early musical education, but because Dalmatia was a bit of a backwater, he relocated to Vienna, which was the capital of the musical world, in the mid-1800s. And he soon made a name for himself as a composer of light operettas. We actually believe that he perhaps was the composer who was the predecessor of Jacques Offenbach and Johann Strauss in composing the operettas. Now, very few of his operettas are performed today, but the overtures have become a staple in the musical world. We're going to play one of his very first overtures. Actually, this was even before he wrote his first operetta. It's called appropriately Morning, Noon, and Night in Vienna. And of course, like all of von Schubert's music, it is very, very melodic and musical. So here we are. Not a song by a dog, but a song by a person from Dalmatia. And several of the solos in there, a wonderful part of that solo that is in the opening section by the opening festival. And also solo parts by Nancy Horowitz and John Gonzalez. We're now going to proceed ahead to one of the most famous operas by one of the most famous operatic composers. Our next work is going to be from La Traviata by Giuseppe Verdi. Most operas start with a stirring overture, something like what we just performed. But in the case of La Traviata, in the serious nature of the opera at the end, Verdi goes with a prelude, which sort of foreshadows the ultimate tragedy that occurs at the end. So, ladies and gentlemen, now performing the prelude to Act 1 of La Traviata. this evening, among the marches that we selected, are marches that were not composed by John Philip. John Philip certainly was the American March king. And during the war concerts that we're doing 12 other composers of marches. Today we're doing one of the more obscure composers. His name was William Nassan. And his claim to fame in the march world is called the Connecticut March. And you may recognize a little bit of this music from the Strike the Band that we played to open today's concert. William Nassan's The Connecticut March. Claude Debussy was one of the great pianists of the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. Wrote many, many compositions. And our next work is a composition that he actually wrote for his daughter. It's called The Children's Corner. Originally for piano, it was in 6 movements for distinct parts. It was so popular on piano that after he composed it in 1906, an orchestral version came out in 1911. It was so popular in its orchestral version that within 10 years, a band edition of it was composed. We're going to perform 2 of the movements from the Children's Corner Suite today. The first one is called Serenade for a Doll. And the second one is perhaps the most famous of the movements. It's called the Golliwogg's Cakewalk. So ladies and gentlemen, some music Originally for piano, then for orchestra, and then for band. Two movements from the children's quarter suite of Claude Debussy. Thank you. We're going to take a slight pause in our program before we do the first piece on or the last piece on the first half of the program, to pay homage and to praise the efforts of two of our band members. Carl Stromberg, who joined the band about 20 years ago, has been a leader of our tuba section of all the years. In addition to being the leader of the tuba section, he also has been for many years our librarian, and in addition to this, has periodically done some arrangements for the band. In addition to this, Carl also brought his wife Nina along. And Nina has been a member of our percussion section all these many years. Now, Carl and Nina are going to be relocating out to the Midwest. And they're going to have the opportunity of buying the Waldwick Band franchise. and opening the Midwestern division of the Polka Band. But we have some things in which we want to honor Carl and Nina with today. And let me call forth right now the president of the Waldwick Band, Carl.
Most of what we do is right out here. You hear our music. We work hard at it. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, and frankly, a lot of the things that happen behind the scenes are taken care of by Carl. One of the important functions he's taken care of us for at least over a decade has been the librarian for the band. Now, as a librarian for the band, it's the repository of a great history of music. We have, I think Carl told me, 2,370 pieces in our band library. Some of them, we have the only extant existing pieces left, so we don't take care of them. They could be gone for history. Carl has taken that very seriously. He's kept them in order. He's shared them with other people. He's collected them from other bands that have stopped existing so that the music would be saved. And this is a great service that Carl has rendered. He's also made sure we stay legal in the law, that we do handle things properly with all the copyright laws. And my wife's a librarian, and she'd be very angry if he didn't take care of that. In addition to that, Carl is a very unique composer and arranger, and he's handled pieces from the Civil War, from Italian operas, and in some cases he's done arrangements that have only been done by him. The last one you heard was last year. He did the only existing band arrangement of the One-Eyed, One-Horned, Flying Purple. So there are many things we could say to Carl, and we just, on the plaque, which I want to give to Carl, there are a lot of words I could put in the plaque. Some of the words the plaque maker would not let me put in, however. But anyway, our plaque says, Waldwick Band, presented to Carl Stromberg for years of dedicated service as tuba player, composer, arranger, and band librarian, dated 2020. that, above and beyond the call of duty, I think it should be mentioned that Carl has been a phenomenal contributor to the band. In many cases, we need a piece of equipment, a timpani has to be fixed. Well, frankly, Carl and his wife have taken it upon themselves to do those, make the donations necessary to do those repairs, and he never asks for thanks. He simply feels obligated because of his love and feelings for the band, and we really appreciate that above and beyond what he's done as librarian and player as well. I now wanted to bring on some other members of the board, Louise, our vice president, and Brenda, our secretary, who has a presentation. I also want to bring up Nina because, believe me, they're a team, and a lot of this activity is really a combined effort. So I wanted to bring Carl and Nina up for another presentation.
So in the spirit of equal rights, we've got a bouquet
You gotta go first, I can only be 2 steps behind you.
Push him off the stage.
So Nina and Carl, we're so glad to have you, and we're going to really miss you. I just have a couple words to say about Carl. I have some comments that he's got 4 letters in his first name, Carl. So I want to say that Carl, one of the things is very capable. He's got a real strong interest in music. He's an excellent player. A couple of times I've gotten to sit next to him. He has a beautiful tone, and he really keeps on the beat, and I really appreciate that about Carl. Carl is a hugely active musician in the area. He's not only does he play in the Waldwick band, but he's playing in the Westwood band, he plays in the Rockland band, he plays in the Brass Factory, and he probably plays in other groups that I don't even know about. So he's a busy guy. Carl is reliable. Carl shows up to every rehearsal early. He lets us in. He's where he's going to be, when he says he's going to be there. He gets the job done, and he keeps that bass line going, so he keeps us on track. And then last, I just want to say that Carl is lovable. Carl likes to make jokes, and one especially thing I appreciate about him is that he's kind. Even when he's frustrated. We're a very high-maintenance group, constantly losing our music, and Carl fills that need without getting nasty about it. So thank you so much, both of you.
Carl, on behalf of the Waldwick Band, we wish you God's richest blessings in your new home, and we hope and pray that you will be as much of a blessing to your new community as you have been to ours. So go with God's blessings. Thank you.
We're going to conclude the first half of our program today with a polka. But it's a little bit different style of polka. It's not like the Jimmy Sturr Polish polkas, but instead this is called a Polka Francaise, meaning that it's not quite as loud or frenetic as the Polish style polkas. And this one actually is from the Fledermaus by Johann Strauss Jr. Strauss himself wrote a good 40 polkas, some of which are very lively and active, and some of which are a little bit more sedate and refined. Ladies and gentlemen, concluding the first half of our program today with the Polka Francaise from the Fledermaus. Academy Awards are coming up very, very shortly. And one of those areas that is honored each and every year is the best score. Well, if we go back several years, or more than several years ago, we had the movie Ben-Hur, which was a great DeMille production, and it, of course, starred Charlton Heston as Ben-Hur. Probably one of the most exciting portions of that film, there's a lot of really exciting parts, was the chariot race. And this music we're going to play is the music that was performed as the various charioteers enter into the hippodrome. The hippodrome is the type of stadium that was used to have the chariot races. And then later, in the 19th century, large theaters were called hippodromes. But that's where the term comes from. Hippodrome was the home of the chariot races. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play part of Nicholas Rose's Oscar-winning score. This is The Parade of the Charioteers from Ben-Hur. course, we don't have chariot races anymore, but what we do have is the Super Bowl. I guess which is our 21st century version of the chariot race. But there, of course, we have the big halftime show. During intermission, somebody told me a joke. Very appropriate for Super Bowl, Sunday, tomorrow. Why did the football coach go to the bank? To get his quarterback. Now, I asked the person that told me that joke, can we use it? Yes, you may go home and use that joke. Our next composition doesn't have anything to do with the movies, but it's an interesting piece. It's in two parts. It's a symphonic prelude and dance by James Curnow, who has, for a 40-year period, written really great and fantastic music for band and for wind instruments, all sorts of music, ranging all the way from marches to sacred music for the church and temple use. We'd like to perform now the preludes, symphonic prelude and dance of James Curnow. do the marches. We're going to play a march by the probably New York City king of marches. His name was Edwin Franco Goldman, and he founded the New York Military Band in 1914. And in a few years, the name of the band turned into the Goldman Band. And they did concerts for many, many, many years, up until about 10 years ago. You may remember at one time going to the mall in Central Park, or Prospect Park, the band show there, or even at Lincoln Center, where the Goldman Band played under Edwin Franco Goldman and his son Richard Frank Goldman, Anthony Cox, and eventually Chris Duell. This march is called Onward, Upward. And while we're playing it, I want to direct your attention to the to the trombones and the euphoniums, because this is one of the most difficult marches for those instruments. And fortunately, we have the Waldwick Band trombone section here, one of the premier trombone sections on the East Coast. So listen and watch. Now I have to wait 2 or 3 minutes for the trombone to cool down. That's all that motion. We're going to continue on now with selections from the Lion King. First, appearing in 1994 as a movie entirely animated by the Disney Studios. Of course, the Disney Studios can get every last penny out of any project they've ever been involved with. So, in 1997, the Lion King appeared on Broadway with wonderful costumes and choreography by famed American puppeteer Julie Threadmore. But of course, Disney Studios were not done with that yet. They came out with another animated version of The Lion King just recently, where they're using CGI, computer-generated images. And you may have your favorite. Some people who have seen all three like to show this. Some like the original animated feature. Some like the most recent Lion King. But in any case, the music stays the same. By the way, Elton John did write more music for the most recent Lion King, but it's not in the main part of the movie. They used it in the credits. So when I went, I was waiting for something new. And I heard it when they were running the credits. Who stays with the credits? Sometimes, you know, the credits for The Lion King were over 9 minutes long. I hate to say this, but sometimes the best music goes with the credits. I saw Dr. Dolittle the other night, and the best music was in the credits. So ladies and gentlemen, here we go, a selection from Elton John and Tim Rice's The Lion King. percussion section. The flute solo, and this was taken by Nancy Harvey.
And this was much less expensive for you.
And the French horn solos was taken by Elaine with Finlander. And the alto saxophone solo by Mitch Shapiro. Coming to the last piece of our program, it's been sort of a tradition of ours to play Sleigh Ride at our February concert. And it has yet to snow on the day when we do Sleigh Ride. And we do it twice a year. We do it at our February concert, and then we try to pick the hottest day in July. And it's never snowed on that day either. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, concluding our program today with Leroy Anderson's Sleigh Ride. We'd like to invite you to come to our next concert, which will be on Sunday, March the 8th. But at that time, our featured soloist is going to be our own Katie Holson. Who's going to be performing for you Leroy Anderson's Trumpeter's Lullaby, and also an encore by the great Jimmy Burke. who played for many years with the Golden Band in New York City. Also on that program, we're going to have a selection from Mary Poppins Returns. And we're going to be a wonderful overture of a band called Jubilation. And, oh, it's just chock full of wonderful music. If you want to see what we're going to do, go on our website, www.waldwickband.org, and look on the repertoire, and you'll see what else we'll be doing on March 8th. We have another number of things that we are very appreciative for. We're appreciative for the village school for allowing us to do our performances here in this very pleasant auditorium, and to the Kapela in Paramus, and also the congregation at Col de Rope that we use for rehearsals, and very appreciative, of course, of you, our audience. As I have said many times, it's really fun playing a musical instrument, but it's more enjoyable if you have an audience. So thank you for coming today and giving us the pleasure of being able to perform for you.
Hi everybody, I know you for a long time because I've been in the band, I think, for 40 years now. But Laura's been here for a long time, and I just want to say that we all wish her so much luck. She's going to have a baby soon, and so she will be at the next concert, so let's all wish her luck.
We're doing another non-Sousa march to conclude the program, and this one was written by Henry Fillmore, and it was actually dedicated to a man and to a company. The Crosley Company was a major American manufacturer of radios, and they also built automobiles too. Okay, and they also, with the early days of radio, they opened or started one of the biggest radio stations in America, WLIW, which is still in existence today. It's the most powerful, as far as wattage, station in America. Indeed, probably at about 3 o'clock in the morning, if you turn on your radio, you can probably pick them up coming from Cincinnati, Ohio. So ladies and gentlemen, concluding tonight's concert with the Crosley March by a prince of bands, Henry Fillmore.